Hey folks, I've gotten a few questions about the electronics of the Mandalorian tracking fob kit. So I figured I'd make a quick video explaining that rather than describing it in the description. I also had a couple other things I wanted to show off. The big question is, how do the electronics work? Now the LED does flash. That's built into the LED. No extra electronics are required. Everything you see does come with the kit. So when you get your kit, solder your LED to the two nickel strips. And then in the main body is a battery bay. These go in just like normal batteries, as they are normal batteries, all facing the same direction. They slide in pretty easy, but they do hold. So once they're in, you do positive, I believe it's the flat side of the battery. Yeah, so the red wire to the flat side of the battery, black wire to the positive side of the battery. Excuse me, black wire to the negative side of the battery. And then take your LED and put it in the lens, and then you got your flashing light. A little bit of epoxy in there is good. It doesn't take much to hold in place. In fact, it's staying there just fine with nothing else. If you want to get yourself a little switch and wire it in series so that you can turn it off and on easier, you can, but I find it real easy just to pop out the strip, then it's off. When you're ready to turn it back on, slide the strip back in place. There you go. A couple other things I wanted to suggest. When you're putting your kit together, if you decide that you want to like finish it and paint it, it's best to do that before you put it together. So the silver parts, if you want to prime them, I suggest using a gap filling primer. That'll cover up the artifacts of the 3D printing process real well. Just a couple coats of gap filling primer, and then you want to take a piece of sandpaper like this, lay it flat, and then just sand the part while it's like that. Then attach it to the kit. Another question I've been asked is, why are the holes in the core bigger than the holes in the silver parts? So where like the cables go in and where the light lens goes, the holes in the core part are bigger than in the silver parts. And I did that so that you would have room, some wiggle room, in case something doesn't line up perfectly for whatever reason, although in my experience it does. You know, if you got this on a little crooked, you're not blocking the hole. So you got some wiggle room there. This is a finished one that I did a pretty simple paint job on and did some weathering. I think it looks pretty good. It didn't take long at all. Oh, something else. I've been asked about the cables. These are rusted cables. They've been chemically rusted and then coated with a matte spray paint, clear enamel matte coating. And I did that just so that you can handle them at least somewhat without getting, brown rust marks all on your hands. I would suggest you don't abuse that though. If you flex them and whatnot, that enamel coating will rub off and then you'll start getting rust on your hands. Not a big deal, but something to be aware of. The other thing is, again, this is rusted metal. So when you get your pieces of cable, the ends of them have been cut and they can be a little sharp. It's not dangerous per se, but it is rusted metal and you don't want to cut yourself with it. So just be aware. I don't think it's a big risk, but something to be aware of. So there you go. I wanted to show off that guy and how cool I think it looks and how simple the electronics are to install. I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to hit me up and I'm happy to answer. Thanks.